today is day 179 of the year of streaming and learning to code. We are continuing on here at Code Wars. We are looking for a CADA for us to tackle. We need something that rhymes with most completed level 7. Most completed level 7 and fundamentals. Alright, here we have complementary DNA or highest and low. We're basically just working our way down the list. So complementary DNA it is. Okay, so deoxyribonucleic DNA acid. DNA, yes, all of that. Deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA, is a chemical found in the nucleus of cells and carries the instructions for the development and functioning of living organisms. Death. If you want to know more, Wikipedia. DNA. Yes, we do. In DNA, strings, symbols A and T are complements of each other. In C and G, as C and G. Whoa. Who's doing what? In DNA strings, symbols A and T are complements of each other as C and G. You have functions with one side of DNA string, except for Haskell. You need to get the other complementary side. DNA strand is never empty, or there is no DNA at all, again, except for Haskell. DNA strand ATTGC returns TAACG. DNA strand GTAT returns CATA. All right, let's do this. This is very similar to all the stuff we've been doing. Yet again, another flawless example why we really need to carve out time to go over regular expressions, mapping, and constants. Maybe we should set that in stone tomorrow. I don't know. Who knows? The beauty of this is that we get to struggle through it. With that said, what are we going to do? A would return T and T. A is blah. ATGC blankety blank returns so forth and such. Beautiful. Okay. First of all, hey there, Topher. Glad to see you made it. And Topher says, I am confused by the instructions. Never a good start. Not to worry. Look, so DNA, it's traveling in pairs. If you end up with an A, it's supposed to return T. If you end up with a C, it's supposed to return G. So you've got A, T, T, G, C, which returns the opposite of those pairs, T, A, A, C, G. So, that's all that's going down. It's freakishly similar to... I feel like we've been doing the same, which is good. I don't think it's a bad thing because I need work every single day. I'm getting more comfortable with facing these issues. I don't know if my response time and figuring them out is better. I think I'm able to piece together what tools I need a little bit better over the last couple days, 12-ish or so. But I feel like the last 3, 4, 5 days, basically all the level 7 stuff, has been very similar in each Kata that we've done, which is both good and bad. Like the Jaden casing and the descending order. This is similar to the descending order because we have to go through each thing. And I feel like we're going to need to maybe break this apart. Maybe, I think it can all be done again very straightforward and simple. But, yeah. Anywho, that's all. Long story short, we don't need to harp on it. A lot of these seem similar and would use similar tools to solve said similar problems. With that said, we will continue forging ahead. Alright, so much cat fur everywhere. That is what my hell looks like. Kitty fur everywhere. Code goes here. We want to take something. If something, return something. How would I want to do that? Would I want to use an if-else statement? Perhaps a for loop? If blankety blank, go through for blah, 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 and return blank for this, or that, or this. I feel like instead of using a gigantic if-else abomination, I could use something like a switch statement. Maybe just lay everything out, do all the hard work up front, lay out the groundwork. If I get an A, return a T. If I get a T, return an A. Something like that. Topher, looks like you just need a couple key value pairs, then check each character in the string, and if the character is a key, then convert it to the corresponding value. Likewise, if the character's value, get the corresponding key. Interessante. Clever. Okay, so we've got the key value pair array, or the switch statement. I think I'd rather set up the key value pair. That seems like less work. It's just switch statements, I know they're basic, relatively. I feel like it's a lot of prep work with the line break, you know, and the condition, and then the returning crap, and, you know, there's a lot to it. Versus key value pair, you know. A to T and vice versa, T to A, and then C and G, and vice versa. So your key value pairs could be stored in an object literal, something like this, constant symbols. Okay, here's a fun one, because we used it yesterday. We really didn't go over the constant thing. I was just kind of believing that it would work, which I'm certain it will, and I know it does. They have gone over, we did go over the constant stuff at Code Academy briefly. What the deuce does constant? Let's find out. What does constant do in JavaScript? Const JavaScript. I wish these were animated. I want, like, stick figures dancing, explaining what this does. You know, where's that user, viewer, interaction, the production value? Constants are block scoped. Very much like variables, defining the one et? Ah, no, that's just kidding. That's a let. I don't know. It looked like a 1. From here, I gotta look past the pop filter, the arm of the pop filter, and there's blinding light. Doesn't matter. Readings for the week. That's what I determined in the 2nd grade. Variables define using the let statement. The value of a constant cannot change through reassignment, and it can't be redeclared This is a very official variable. That's what it is. That's why its name is constant. It is a variable, but that thing ain't ever going to change, which is fascinating. Topher, a constant is theoretically a value that is immutable or never change. Wow. So eloquently said via Topher Gates. What a beautiful synapsis. Okay, so, well, that saves us a ton of reading. If anyone's ever confused, just ask Topher. That's what I've learned over the last 179 days. Let's go ahead and close out of this. Wow. Lots of fun stuff about DNA here at Wikipedia. They've got some interesting pictures. Let's click on this one. Fascinating. We're all enjoying it. This one moves, and we're zooming in. Oh, it doesn't really zoom in. That zooms in. Look at that. Can you believe that's what we all look like on the inside? Side note, little kitty's dreaming. No, she's not dreaming. She's getting situated. No, she's dreaming. I can't tell. She's small, so when she moves, basically, any and all movements are adorable. Let's go ahead and close out of Wikipedia's stuff. Focus on the code at hand. Your code here. So, something about something. So we will set up our key value pair using the trusty constant symbols. You know what? Well, let's call it DNA. Is that too brash? Too straightforward? I want to. Here they've got lowercase DNA, which makes me concerned. I think that's going to conflict with it. Maybe we should stick with symbols. We're going to stick with... If we can change it to DNA cleanly later, we will, but we're going to stick with symbols for now. Symbols. Curly stuff? Feeling. Why? Breathing's overrated. Okay. Topher, we are all vast and complex multiverses living inside another vast and complex multiverse. With Bob Ross. Exactly. It's exactly how everything's playing out. Which is why learning all this stuff is so friggin' confusing. There's too much to do. Which is good, because that means we've got basically infinite content to stream. We've got curly stuff. We've got quotes. A colon quotiness T something or other. With a friendly comma. D D D D D D D D D D. C and G. Now, in a world where we had constant symbols, so now that we have that, I think DNA, so DNA would receive this. We've got our function DNA strand with our bit of DNA. And what it's going to do is take whatever we give it. It's going to take DNA. We have our symbols, our key value pairs set up here. But it needs to do something with it. And it needs to go through each one. So it's going to need to break up all of this. So we're going to need our split statement. So DNA My concern is if it needs to be in an if statement, but I think I'd rather piece together the chain, the method chain, before worrying about the rest of the crap. So DNA dot split so DNA is a string. We're splitting it at each one. I kind of feel like we should continue on with all of these. As in, A is equal to T, but I also feel like I should set up T is equal to A. I realize it's probably not 100% needed and that I could get away with just returning the key versus the value. And I don't think it would be too big of an issue because this is such a basic thing. It's more or less just mentally and visually the consistency of how I'd see it getting processed is if I'm calling the A key and it's returning T, I'd like to be able to call the T key, which would be down here on this side, and have it return A. So I think I'm going to do that. I realize it's probably not necessary, but mentally, that's where I'm at. So, A, C, should we do alphabetical order? A returns T. I kind of want to put T up here. T colon A comma colon G and C. Yeah, that makes me feel better. So with that said, we should turn this into a variable. Variable DNR. Is that too clever? DNR. Get it? Because it is DNA, but it's an array. That might be too confusing. We'll just call it DNA array. So that's ripping it to shreds. We get our string AAA, ATTGC. That's coming in here. We have this set up for reference, but really where it starts to get interesting is down here. So we're gonna rip it apart and then do something with it. From there, I think there's a clever fix where I could use map, and I should probably try to figure out what map is, but I'd kind of like to just do either a for loop or an if statement. But only if it's not too painful. The last couple days I've tried to piece simple things together, but it turns into this abomination, and just using something like map greatly simplifies it. Not where it's one line, but it clears out a lot of the clutter. So I'm hesitant on if I try to do something basic using an if-else or a for loop, that it's going to actually turn it into something far more complex than it needs to be. We're going to try, though. So for blankety blank, no, if we need to set up yet again another frickin' variable. So we've ripped everything to shreds, and now we need to go through it. This variable will be variable new DNA, new DNA, new blood. Does that work? Does that make sense? Yeah. If or for. We need the for loop because we have to go through everything. Damn it, I want to check my old CODEWARS. Son of a bitch. I'm too unsure. Was completed. Level 7. Fundamentals. Why does it not like anything I suggested? Most completed. Level 7. Fundamentals. Okay, so we had to go through everything with jade encasing. Descending order, and square every digit. So here we have solutions. I'm curious in our solution. Sometimes the cool kids solutions are too clever for me to deal with. So my solutions here. No. Okay, so that used map. Did we really... God, if we ended up using map for all of these, then we can do that. But I don't think map is what we need. Maybe it's what we need. We're going to find out. Because I don't recall. So many of these were similar. I'd say half of the things we used... I feel like we've used dot split the last, like, 5 or 6 lessons. Yeah, this guy. This has been a reoccurring theme here. Okay, so there's this. This is my solution. So dot split. So we don't need to worry about turning it into a string because DNA is already a string. That's what we're feeding it. So that's why we're not doing toString. We're just going straight into dot split, which is perfect for step 1-ish. And then our solution for this is... See this, use constant. And again, we're using constant and map once more. And split. Constant, blankety blank. So what do I really want to do? So in constant, in this one, it came after ripping it to shreds. So maybe we can do that. We can move this. Symbol. Oh, and this is the name of a variable. So, okay, so this is good. So I don't actually... Do I need that? Return something. That's parsing crap. That's stitching it all back together. No one cares about that. That's basic. Or we can always do dot join or some nonsense. Whatever. Let's do the for loop. Let's do the for loop, and we can use symbols. I might need to brush up on my key value pair usage, on extracting said value from key. But I think we're going to get there. So, in a world of for loops, I feel like there should have been a variable. Bastards. That's okay. Let's set up the for loop. Enough hypotheticals. I0, I less than DNA R? Yeah. DNA array dot length So for that, we're going to end up with curly bits. Okay, for loops are for looping. Yes. Thank you. Good. Keeping me on track. Topher Gates, I don't know about you, but I'm all for loops. Wow. We're getting towards the bottom of the barrel of our joke spin, and we're still towards the beginning of this adventure. God help us. Sounds like the Ninja Turtles theme song. So kind of close, more DuckTalesy, but we cut it at the beginning because DuckTales is for winners, damn it, and right now we're struggling. So to each his own. But you know, there was some turtliness to it. Really, any animated cartoon character will do. What was I doing? Variable. Do we need a variable for the for loop? It's going to take all this, and no, we don't. I don't know. We might. We'll figure it out later. So inside the for loop, we are going to be taking DNA array. It's going to be going through each. It's already going through each character of DNA array. So now we need to take I compared to the symbol. DNA array I. Is that right? And somehow do something with symbols. I don't even know if that's right. I just remember from, was it yesterday's lesson, the lambda was something about like inputs to outputs, and it's taking whatever we give it and spitting out another thing. So I was just crossing my fingers and kind of blindly going for it. But mentally, this is what I'm seeing. I want to take whatever I letter thing we're on and spit that out, which this probably needs to be a new variable, like variable new DNA, because in the end we're going to have to return something below this, you know, return the new DNA string, right? And it'll probably be like .join or something, .join as well, just like the last 3 or 4 days where we've been using .join or parse int at the bottom for numbers. This is roughly where I'm at. So that's all I've got mentally. If symbol has own property, DNA array I. So that's what I'm doing. The other thing, and I think that answers it right there, is you can just do an if statement, right? My main concern is because every time, not every time, the majority of times, and I'm talking like 99.999% of the time, there was an if statement involved at Code Academy, and even the handful I've done here at CODEWARS, usually there is an else involved. But can you just have an if, like if in the condition and do something? Is else always implied? Is that what's going on? Because I always feel like it's either if else or the if else if else. You know what I mean? Can you just have a solo if? Can if ever be alone? That's what I want to know. And it looks like that's what you just sent in the chat as the example. and I think it should function, you can have just an if with no else. Cool. My universe has been restored. Everyone can sleep now. The mystery has been solved thanks to Topher. We can all go home. If can fly solo. We can all stop worrying about that. If symbols. So what's actually happening here? So we have if symbols dot has own property. So it's if symbols has the property blankety blankety blank. That's what's going down. And then it's going to reference the DNA stuff letter by letter. Clever. What a great fix. Has own property. And then return new DNA.join, ideally. I'm going to see if that works. I think we should be in the clear, roughly. Partial error. Variable new DNA. Oh, does it not like... No, the variable name should be fine, even with the capitals. But what doesn't it like about it? Oh, the for loop. It's pissed at the for loop. Maybe it doesn't need to be a variable. Maybe I just return that? Maybe... No, there's an if, and then there should be a curly brace of sorts. If this... That's what's going down. If this... Return... Hold on. No, little cat. I'm on the edge. I love you, tiny furry abomination, but bear with me. Let's try returning. No. Sit, boo-boo, sit. Copy this. I think this is... No. What's wrong? Why are you so committed to walking in front of the webcam in the screen? Go, do something. Go, be an explorer. Yes, good. Why does this feel wrong? Run sample test. Okay, good. So we've made things worse. Variable new DNA. For blankety blank. Unexpected token. Object exports run. Anonymous. At combine. What's happening? Wait. If symbol, blah, blah, blah. You can have invalid variable assignment for new DNA. Cannot assign a variable to a for loop. Oh. Return after year loop. Hey, little cat. Will you please move? I can't see and you're moving the mic. Oh my god, you're so involved. It's just a freaking lamp. It's the same light that's there every stream. Holy hell, she's crazy. Let's double check she didn't totally destroy... No, yep, miking. No, there we go. Everything's reversed. Okay, let's do this. Also, we're in OBS. We can see your ass is on screen, little cat. Please move. Thank you. Okay, so this was a dumb idea on my part. Let's get rid of you. And we will now take this returning stuff post if statement. I think we still leave the curly things, but empty. I don't know. It's just, I feel like that's what one does when they've got iffy things to do, if that makes sense. Curly stuff, for loop. Oh my god, little cat. Why are you back? Okay. So we don't need the return new DNA. What we need is... what? Oh my god, little cat, you got... That is her. Are we watching this? All she's doing is putting forward slashes. Okay, so... If that's Topher, what happens if that statement is true? If that statement is true, it should take... DNA array. It's going to... We put in a statement, or we put in a string here. That string gets ripped apart. We will refer to it as DNA array. We have all of our symbols, our constant variable, if you will, known as symbols, with our key value and pairs. We've set up our for loop, and it's going to go through all of DNA array, checking letter by letter. And if symbols, if each one has that property at DNA array I, it will do something. What will it do? It will return... It will return... It's either going to be return something. Yeah, no, it's going to return DNA array I plus something. It's going to return each letter of DNA array. Return DNA array I plus return DNA array. My concern is that DNA array down here dot join is just going to return this? Is it actually going to respect the for loop and all the processing it did here in the if symbol? And will it stitch together into the new stuff with this alone? I feel like it's not going to remember that. I feel like I need to tell it to form together and have like a new variable, like variable new DNA equals DNA or plus equals or some shit like that. And then return copy and then do this. Like new DNA array. Maybe that's what I want to return. I don't even know. I feel like I should have had the pluses. Whoa, wait. View DNA, new DNA equals DNA array. I always get confused on how to set up the plus equals things for the for loops for the i's that add on to themselves. I can't remember the formatting of it. What's happening in chat? Return after your loop. What happens if that statement is true? If the if statement is true, what should happen? Do not return inside your for loop. Okay, there's no... Okay, so no return inside there. We got rid of that. Return will exit the function scope, thus ending your loop. Okay, so return spells death in the land of for loops. And Topher, yes, you're on the right track now. Okay, so I am heading down the right track. So, plus equals... Maybe it's... Maybe it's symbols? I don't think that's right, but... Symbols dot DNA array I plus equals TN array I want it to be something like that. I can't remember for the life of me how the plus equals things. It's the total. If I have... I just need to set it up down here. We need a nonsense section. That's what we need. I need to mentally work this out. Nonsense. Okay, so if I've got... Topher, you need to define the new DNA variable above your for loop. Oh. Huh. Maybe that's what I'm missing. So if DNA array equals something, what does DNA array equal? It will equal the symbol, but which symbols? Symbol dot DNA array I, because it's at each one. If whatever we put in here and we're ripping it apart, if we have the letter A, it's going to equal I. So that's DNA array I. So this is the original thing from the string, but the symbols portion is the value, I think. But it's the whole string of that. Maybe it's dot join? Is it dot join here? Dot join? Maybe that's what it is, instead of the plus equals nonsense. I was just trying to figure out how to get it to keep latching on to itself, but I guess I don't need to worry about the latching on. And then down here I could just do return new DNA. Death. Okay. You're on the right track. You need to define the new DNA variable above your for loop. Gotcha. We at least have the basis of that variable. New DNA array equals new DNA will be first defined as an empty array. God damn it. That makes sense. We've even done stuff like this over the last couple days. Rookie mistake, Steven. Rookie mistake. Okay. New DNA array. New DNA will first be defined as an empty array. If symbols has a property, so that would be if symbols has own property with the current character value. Oh, push. Now I need to double check the push stuff. Push the value at the symbol property to the new DNA array. So push stuff. Push. Don't mind me. Just a refresher. I haven't had to push anything in days. Script, weeks. JavaScript. Push. Is it a dot push or a parentheses push? Dot push with a parentheses? Both? Stack Overflow. They've had some okay stuff. I think I've actually liked Stack Overflow's examples the best. So symbols, push, blank. Fruits, push, kiwi. Let's see what we end up with. So use the push function. That right there. So push blank. So array, variable array, push ola, console log array, initialize. We've got all that. We're adding salu and hey. And now when we call it, it ends up in here. So we're pushing to where we want it to go. So we want to push to new array. So it'd be new array dot push. New array new DNA dot push, and it would be the parentheses symbol DNA blah blah blah. I think that's at least the world I want to live in the meantime for now. Here we would do dot join, I'm hopeful, with quotes. Let's get rid of the nonsense section. Maybe. Does that fly? Does that vibe? Oh, let's give that a shot. Okay, this is good. This is good. If symbols has own property DNA I, curly brace, and then it gets pissed around this section. Unexpected identifier. Object exports running context. Object anonymous. Bootstrap node. Combined tick callback. Internal process. At process. Has own property. Property? Looks like it's spelled correctly. So what would I do? Wait. Missing the parentheses in the if expression, the curly stuff. Missing the if. Oh my god, the condition, you're right. If condition. Wait, was it just that first one? There was that one. Oh no, I was missing entirely that whole thing. Huh. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. New error, good, good. Changing, growth is good. Type error. Cannot read property 0 of undefined at DNA strand. Whoa, wait. What's actually happening? Type error. It cannot read the property 0 of undefined. Something's undefined, and it doesn't like me because of it. That's cool. I get that. That makes sense. At DNA strand, at object handler, blah, blah, blah. Something about something. Topher. Now just need to fix line 17. 17. Dome. Okay. We're fixing line 17. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. We've got our function. Curly stuff happening there. Open. Closed. Good times. Variable, blah, 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 equals, blah, 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 semicolon. Happy times, one space. Constant symbol. Curly nonsense. Everyone gets a comma minus the last one. All good. We're now down to 12. We've got our variable equals, our open array, happy thoughts. We are now left with our for loop and verifying this guy. For blah, blah, blah. We have our open parentheses, semicolons across the board, less than the length, good, opening stuff, and closing stuff. We now have our if statement, if condition, open parentheses, symbols, dot, has own property, new set of parentheses, internal, DNA array, I, closing, open curly stuff. There's a gaha, aha. That's what he was talking about on line 17. A stowaway semicolon. Can you believe it? There we go. We had to look through everything, but we found it. New DNA array dot push symbols dot DNA array I semicolon here. No need for a semicolon on line 17. That closes off nicely, and then we are left with return new DNA dot join. Whew. Once more from the top. What's happening? Now just Topher. Now just fix line 17. Has to do with the dot operator. The dot operator. What about what? The dot operator. Symbols. Pushing. Line 16 now. Oh. Fuck. I'm gonna hit run anyways. Damn! It's still pissed. Okay, so line 16 now. Something dark something. Disoik. Captain Disoc. That's what we're gonna go with. Yo to you, good sir and or madam, or whichever you please. Hopefully your evening is going well. Hopefully you're not super confused. That's where I'm at right now. Stage 12 confusion. Actually, it's not that bad. Topher has been incredibly generous with his time and commitment in guiding us. We're on the cusp of success, and we're staring in the face of confusion. I really want to just put return, but apparently return is bad times. But I want to do it anyways. Damn. See, it ends the for loop, apparently. Yeah. New DNA dot push. It has to do with the dot something. It has to do with the dot operator. Dot operate JavaScript. Don't mind me, don't mind me, don't mind me. JavaScript dot operator dot notation. Get equals object dot property dot object property equals set. In this code, property must be valid JavaScript identifier, i.e. sequence of alphanumeric characters, also including the underscore and $sign that cannot start with a number. For example, object dot $1 is valid, while object dot $1 is not. We're gonna get there, guys. We are gonna figure this out. Something about something scripts. We're so close. I can taste it. Kind of tastes like sadness and confusion, but after a good long while, most things do. So, you know, that just goes without saying. Not actually sure what I'm looking at. .to blank spread syntax. My function, iterable nonsense. And we're letting things. And there's some curly stuff. Arguments and functions. Do I need a comma? No, I don't need a comma. That was close. I thought I was onto something. But I'm not. Same page. Dot operator. Okay. Variable O. Prop. What can I do? Do I need a colon somewhere in this nightmare? Maybe it's the new DNA. Maybe I don't need that. Maybe it's not new DNA. Why am I so unsure? I'm going with Dissoc. I'm awful with usernames, but to my best assumption, we're going with Dissoc. Go back to your code. We can help. Bracket notation instead of dot operator. Okay. So don't mind me. Bracket. I know we're looking at the code. Dot operator versus bracket notation. Objects within dot verse bracket. Code Academy. Hey, we've been there, right? Who remembers that nightmare? Okay, so dot verse bracket. To answer both questions, made a little snippet. Something up. People versus George. This is George. Okay, this is Bob. This is Stan. Versus dot nonsense. Dot George. Dot Stan. People. Do I need to dot something else? For variable key. Object key. Wait a second. Dee 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 dee. La da 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 dee da da. Dee 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 dee. Can you print on this? I think the value of DNA array in your for loop is nil. The value in your new DNA array is nil. This means that when you call DNA array 0 for the first iteration of the loop, you get the error undefined. Interesting. Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Do I need to tag on more fun stuff down here? Although I feel like that's what the push was supposed to do. Maybe I can join on all of this. But I feel like I'm supposed to change the formatting. So bracket notation would involve a colon somehow. But I don't know what I need to be coloning to. That's my issue. Colon. New DNA array. No. No. Yes. Fuck. Why am I so unsure? I can't do that. I wanted to do or something else. Death. No, you can't access a DNA array I as a property of wait. You cannot access DNA array I as a property of symbols with the dot operator. Oh, you need to use brackets because it's in an array. Oh my god. Wow. That's what it was leading up to. I just need a moment to reflect here. The frustration is overwhelming. I can't believe that was it. That's what I was missing. Death. Topher, you're a lifesaver. Where did our scavenger hunt research lead us to? I'm just curious about that. So, object property. I think we were basically getting there. I hope. It sure as shit didn't seem that way. Object name dot property versus brackets. Dots versus brackets. People.George.firstname versus people George.firstname versus the brackets. Typical. Son of a... Fuck. Oh, so wait. So even still, I thought it was because it's in an array, but that's not actually the case. Okay, so Topher's saying not because it's in an array, because it's a variable. I thought, interesting. So, because I'm seeing the brackets here, and I know that's what we're using as the empty array. Or I guess that's not an empty array. That's just an empty variable. Why am I thinking that's an array? I need to brush up on the differences between the parentheses, the brackets, and the curly braces for JavaScript. I have so much that I need to smooth out. There's so many rough edges in my understanding. Death. Let's close all this stuff now that we really don't need it. Okay, let's run it now. Brackets create an empty array. We're running. Beautiful. Everything was there. We had it all this time. It was simply my terrible lack of understanding of the proper syntax needed to pull it off. But it's there. It's green. It's glistening. It's successful. T's across the board. TAACG, which we know because of our cool code working, that it would actually be ATTGC, which is exactly right here. And we got CATT, which would be GTAT, and that's what this is here. GTAT. Success. All right. Brackets, what's going down? Try symbol dot, what now? Try symbol dot data array I. You want data array I to resolve first, then the value for it to work on symbol, but really don't use JavaScript. Sucks. But I really don't use JavaScript. It sucks nuts, bro. Interesting. Good. Brackets create an empty array. so much nuts. So many. That's quite the visual. Disuck. However, it's also a way to access a property value in an object. Yet you suggested ClojureScript and lost all credibility. Smug. Good. All right, well, the test works. Let's do the attempt. Is it successful? Thank God we passed. Holy hell. Finally. Beautiful. Look at that. See, this, they show you what they were throwing in and what they got. That's nice. Tons of fun. Green happy smiley faces. We are submitting the final. We are closing out of this nightmare. Day 1, what is it? Day 179 is coming to an end. Let's close out of all of this. We just submitted our final. Let's see what all the cool kids wrote for their answers. And we're going to power this nightmare down. Good times. Okay, so from the top, the cool kids' suggestions were function DNA strand DNA return DNA dot replace dot G something global function C return DNA strand pairs C. Theirs was far more concise. DNA strand pairs. Oh, look at that, they did all 4. I'm glad my need to do all 4 was at least somewhat correct. Pairs. I don't like their one-line pairing. That makes my soul feel itchy just looking at that, but good on them for pulling it off in one line here. DNA.split, map function again with V, return pairs V, and join. Straightforward. An elegant solution to an otherwise, I don't know what, basic problem. Felt like a freaking nightmare for me, though. But that's just due to my general lack of understanding. What else do we have? A lot of other one-liner nightmares. Nothing that interesting. This is awful. That's great. Holy hell. Nothing really... Okay, this is kind of... Minus the map function, this is getting closer to what we had. So we're, like, at the bottom of the barrel for our recommendation. Good. Aha! I told you it could be done with a switch statement. No one believed me. Although that's, like, 20th place. It's because no one wanted to do a switch statement. I didn't even want to do a switch statement. Alright, so we're clearly towards the bottom of the winner's bin. Let's go ahead, look at percentage-wise where we stand. Put the final nail in this coffin. That is day 179. We are now on the exact 50% threshold of level 7. And we've made it to 88,000 for our position. Look at that. Again, still slowly clawing our way to the top. Let's go ahead and back out to home. Thank you again so much to anyone and everyone who stopped by. Really, mainly, huge hat tip to Topher for sticking through it yet again, guiding us to victory. Also, Dissock for stopping by. Thank you for sticking out. The hellishness that is my stream, and to any other viewers who may have accidentally stumbled in here to view the stream, any and all views are greatly appreciated. Let's go ahead and jump over to OBS. The adventure continues tomorrow with day 180, but in the meantime, we are stopping the stream. Are you sure you want to stop the stream? Hell yeah, kill it.